Hey YouTube, this is PrimetimePokemon. In this video, I'll be reviewing and giving away the Mind Wipe theme deck from the Plasma Blast set. So this is the first of two theme decks I'll be reviewing and giving away from the Plasma Blast deck. And stay tuned towards the end of the video, I will lay out the rules to entry for the giveaway. So, for the review, Mind Wipe is a Psychic and Grass type deck. I will read over the description on the back of the box and then say what you'll get in the deck if you do win this theme deck. So it says, your victories will be unforgettable. The powerful Paleozoic Pokemon Genesect explodes into action in the Mind Wipe theme deck as its Jet Impact attack deals devastating destruction. Rheonucleus reduces retaliation with Barrier Attack, and Kangaskhan pulls Pokemon into play with Call for Family. As this bewildering onslaught comes to a close, your rivals will be mired in the memories of their defeats. And then, if you do win this theme deck in my giveaway, you'll win the following things. You'll get the 60 card deck, the checklist, the metallic coin, the 2-player playmat, the code card for the deck, and then the deck box and damage counters. And then here's a list of the cards inside the deck. And the main card in this deck is Genesect. So I will open this up, and I did open this deck already just so I could organize the cards for the review. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each card in the deck and summarize the card and then give my opinion on each card. So here's the damage counters and special condition markers. Here's the checklist, the playmat, the coin, and then here's the code card that will unlock the entire theme deck and actually give away online TCG code cards on my blog from single booster packs that I open up from sets. And then here's the deck box with the 60 cards inside. And like I mentioned, I've already sorted all the cards inside. It's a very cool deck box to store your cards in if you do win this theme deck. And these theme decks do cost $11.99. And I purchased this theme deck from Target. I actually purchased both of them. And then in a month or so I will be reviewing the Solar Strike theme deck from this set and giving that deck away as well. So the first card in this deck is Genesect, and there are two of them. And Genesect is the main Pokemon card in this deck. And it talks about on the back of the box, talking about Genesect's mind is Jet Impact attack. So Genesect, basic Pokemon, HP of 100, so above average HP, 2 moves, Call for Family, requires 1 colorless energy card, and says to search your deck for 2 grass type basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. And then Jet Impact does 80 damage for 3 energy cards, plus it could do 20 more damage if you get a heads when you flip a coin. So this is a very good, almost a starter type Pokemon card. You can put this card into the active Pokemon spot to start the game. Use Call for Family just to get your bench full. And then in a couple of turns, you'll definitely be able to knock out pretty much any basic Pokemon out there with Jet Impact in 1 move or less. Starter basic Pokemon, that is, not basic Pokemon like Genesect. But that's a very good basic Pokemon card, and you may even want to have 4 of these in your deck. And here's a special holographic patterned one that is usually in the display window of the theme deck when you buy it. Next card is Golett, and there is a 2-1 line of Golett and Golurk. Golett is a basic Psychic type Pokemon, 80 HP, so good HP. Beat requires 1 colorless energy card and does 10 damage, so a good starter type Pokemon there. And Mega Punch does below average damage, but hopefully you'll be able to evolve Golett into Golurk shortly after moving Golett to the active Pokemon spot. So 1 Golurk, above average HP, so far all the Pokemon in this deck have above average HP. 130 HP, so about 40 more HP than most Stage 1 Pokemon cards. 2 moves on this one. Iron Fist of Justice does 60 damage for 2 energy cards, so above average damage. And it says if you have any Team Plasma Pokemon in play, this attack does nothing. So this deck encourages you not to use Team Plasma cards. And then Shadow Punch does 80 damage for 4 energy cards. So after looking at Golett and Golurk, I'd probably recommend evolving Golett into Golurk on the bench so you can put 4 energy cards on Golurk before moving in the active Pokemon spot, because Golurk's retreat cost is 4 colorless energy cards, so it's going to take a lot of energy cards to retreat it. You don't want to have to put this card into the active Pokemon spot before it's ready. Same with Golett. Its retreat cost is 3 energy cards. So with Pokemon that have high retreat costs like this, you usually don't want to put them in the active Pokemon spot until you have that amount of energy cards on that Pokemon. Next up is a 2-1 line of Drifloon and Drifblim. Another Psychic type line. Drifloon, above average HP, 70 HP. 2 moves on this one. Creepy Wind. It confuses the defending Pokemon if you get a heads when you flip a coin. I don't really like that move. And then Wind Blast does 40 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So below average damage there, but it can spread damage around. This card might be better suited for a deck that spreads damage around. We'll have to see how the rest of the cards in this deck fare to see if this card fits in well. But I personally don't like this Drifloon card very much. We'll have to see what Drifblim looks like. 100 HP on Drifblim, Stage 1. First ability on a card, and its ability is called Drifting Balloon. And it says this Pokemon's attacks cost 1 colorless energy card less for each of your opponent's Team Plasma Pokemon in play. So I mentioned in my summary video on Plasma Blast that Plasma Blast has cards that are designed to counter Team Plasma cards, and couple of cards I've already had things that counter it, like this card's ability. If the defending Pokemon have Team Plasma cards in play, Derail only costs potentially free almost. It only costs however many Team Plasma cards your opponent has in play. It costs 1 less energy card to attack. So if your opponent has 3 Team Plasma cards in play, this card does not require any energy at all to use Derail. Plus, it discards a special energy card attached to the defending Pokemon if they have one. And if they're using Team Plasma cards, they're probably going to be using Plasma Energy as well. So Drifblim, I definitely like that one. I'd probably, if you just have the 1 Drifblim in your deck, I'd probably only have 1 Drifloon in the deck as well. Okay, so on to a Grass-type basic Pokemon, Tropius. There are 2 Tropius in the deck. 100 HP, so a good HP. 2 moves. Return does 10 damage and allows you to replenish your hand until you have 6 cards in your hand. And then Energy Press does 20 damage plus 20 more damage for each energy attached to the defending Pokemon. So this card, if you don't get it into the active Pokemon spot early in the game and use Return, if you wait a while until the defending Pokemon is set up, Energy Press can do a lot more damage for only 2 energy cards. Potentially, I could see it easily doing 80 damage a turn. So 2 of those. Then there's a line of normal type Pokemon, or colorless type. A 2-2 line of Porygon and Porygon 2. So 60 damage for Porygon, and has 1 move called Tackle, does 10 damage. So very average basic starter type Pokemon card. I really like the artwork on this card though. Reminds me of the base set Porygon. Then Porygon 2, 80 HP, so below average HP for a Stage 1 Pokemon. Destructive Beam does 30 damage and says to flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy attached to the defending Pokemon. So a couple of Pokemon have moves that allow you to discard an energy card from your opponent's Pokemon. So this card might be a filler just because it's colorless type and it can work in any deck, but it also goes along well with a card that I reviewed earlier, Drifblim's Derail move. Okay, so next up is a 3-2-1 line of Solosis, Duosion, and Rheoniclus. Solosis has extremely below average HP, only 30. One move called Hide says flip a coin. If heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. So you're never really going to want to have this Pokemon in the active Pokemon spot. You're going to want to evolve it into Rheoniclus on the bench. And if you do have to move it into the active Pokemon spot, you better be hoping for a heads, otherwise you're going to get knocked out right away. Okay, so then there are 2 Duosion in the deck. 60 HP, so a little better HP, still way below average for Stage 1 Pokemon cards. Focused Wish is the only move on this card. 20 damage it does for 2 energy cards, but if you get a heads when you flip a coin, it does 20 more damage. And then there is one Rheoniclus card, 100 HP, so still way below average HP for a Stage 2 Pokemon. So the whole line is under average for HP, but this card has 2 moves. And on the back of the deck box, it talks about Rheoniclus's ability to reduce retaliation with barrier attack. So we'll take a look at barrier attack, which is Rheoniclus's first move. Requires only 1 psychic energy card and does 30 damage. It says during your opponent's next turn, any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 30. That doesn't do too much for me because Rheoniclus only has 100 HP to begin with, so reducing things by 30 doesn't do much for me. And then Telekinesis of Nobility does 70 damage for 3 energy cards, which is above average. And then it says to switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. I don't really like that move either, just because you're forced to switch this Pokemon out of the active Pokemon spot. So I don't think barrier attack is that great of a move, so I would probably remove this whole line from the deck if you are battling with this deck. Next up is a 2-2 line of Munna and Musharna. 60 HP, so back to a Pokemon with average HP. Mumble does 10 damage, and then Focused Wish does 10 damage plus 20 more damage if you get a heads when you flip a coin. Not a bad basic Pokemon there. And then 2 Musharna. 100 HP, so above average HP. 2 moves. Precognitive Dream allows you to draw 3 cards. However, it puts this Pokemon asleep. It's not the greatest of move there. You're going to want to add trainers to this deck to be able to awake Musharna. And then Psybeam does the average 60 damage for 3 energy cards, and it confuses the defending Pokemon. So if I were to use this card, I would mainly use this card for Psybeam. I would find a trainer supporter card that would allow you to draw cards from your hand and put them into from your deck and put them into your hand. Next up is Kangaskhan. And the back of the deck box talked about Kangaskhan's Call for Family move. 100 HP on Kangaskhan. Surprisingly, it's only a common card from the Plasma Blast set. Call for Family says to search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Now, Genesect, I believe, also had a Call for Family move. So depending on how Comet Punch is, I might just want to, like I mentioned earlier, add 4. I'll have 4 total Genesect, add 2 more to this deck and take out these 2 Kangaskhan. But a Comet Punch does 20 damage times the number of heads you get when you flip 4 coins, so it potentially can do 80 damage. So I would definitely recommend Genesect over Kangaskhan. Next is 2 Karrablast, another basic type Pokemon, 60 HP, average HP, and then 1 move which does 20 damage, so a little slower basic Pokemon, but still a decent one. And then Surskit, 50 HP, below average, and then 1 move called Sweet Scent heals 20 damage from one of your Pokemon. I would probably put potions in the deck instead of this, just because you're not going to have damage on your Pokemon until later in the game. And if you move Surskit into the active Pokemon spot later in the game, 1 move by your opponent's Stage 2 Pokemon card is definitely going to knock out Surskit. So that is it for all the Pokemon. Mostly Psychic type Pokemon in this deck. I believe it's 8 Psychic type Pokemon, 4 Grass type Pokemon, and 3 Colorless type Pokemon. Now we're on to the Trainer and Supporter cards. There are 2 Switch cards. Just allows you to switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So this would be important to use on the line I mentioned earlier, Golurk and Golett, that have extremely high retreat costs. So if you decide to leave those 2 Pokemon in this deck, you want to be using Switch with those Pokemon. And then there's a couple of potions. Just removes 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. It's good for that line, Solosis, Duosion, and Rayoneclis, that have way below average HP. There's a supporter card, Caitlyn, and I believe this is new to the Plasma Blast set. And there are 2 Caitlyns, and it says, put as many cards from your hand as you like on the bottom of your deck in any order. Then draw a card for each card you put on the bottom of your deck. So sort of a shuffle type supporter. I think this is a very good one to use. And then Charon is another supporter. Just allows you to draw 3 cards. 2 of those. And then Energy Search. 2 of those as well. There's actually 2 of each trainer in this deck. Energy Search allows you to search your deck for a basic energy card and put it into your hand. And then the last trainer card is Energy Retrieval. It allows you to put 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. So those last 2 trainer cards really allow you to get a lot of energy cards into your hand very quickly and attach them to Pokemon to get those Pokemon set up to attack later in the game. So energy card wise, there are 7 Grass energy cards and 11 Psychic energy cards, so 18 energy cards total in this deck. So overall, after reviewing all of the cards in this deck, definitely some very good cards. Most recently talking about those trainers, I really like the Caitlyn supporter card. I think that'll be very good going forward. I like the Energy Search and Energy Retrievals. And then the Switch is also very important for the Pokemon that have high retreat costs. Overall, I sort of gave tips as I was reviewing the cards. I really like Genesect from this theme deck. What I would do is I would buy this theme deck, play with it for a little while, probably add those 2 Genesect in, remove Kangaskhan, possibly remove the line of Rayoneclis, Duosion, and Solosis, and possibly add a different Psychic type Pokemon card line in the deck. But overall, I'd say this is a solid deck. I definitely think you'd be able to do some damage to opponents with this deck. And if you're just starting the TCG, it's definitely worth giving this deck a try, especially because it has a debut Genesect card. So that's it for the review part of this theme deck. Like I mentioned earlier, I will be giving this theme deck away, and I'll have the complete rules to entry in the video description of this video. But basically, all you have to do is you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and then follow me on my blog. Once you've done those 3 things, just comment in the comment section of this video with your follower name from my blog. Once you've done that, in a few weeks after I post this video, I'll post another video announcing the winner to the theme deck giveaway. So all you have to do is watch that theme deck winner video to see if you've won. So good luck to everyone who enters. Hope you enjoyed listening to me review this theme deck. If you have any more questions about the deck, feel free to message me. Otherwise, good luck to everyone. Complete rules again are in the video description. Also, my blog, Facebook, and Twitter links are in the video description below as well. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.